Hey, it's Wednesday, time for another Action Figure Adventures video here on SEO Toy Review. Today, Baby Skeletor and I are taking a look at some recent toy show pickups. We're going to start and end today's episode with G.I. Joe. First up, I got the Knight Rhino, which is a re-release of the G.I. Joe Warthog. The Warthog was one of Sergeant Slaughter's vehicles for his third version figure. One of my favorites as a kid. I never picked up the Knight Rhino when it came out, and saw it at the toy show and decided, you know what, I kind of want that. It fits in with Night Force, although it doesn't have orange on it. So it's sort of a weird color scheme. I'm not sure what's going on with this yellow here, but it's not a bad retool. And you can see it's being operated by 3 Lifeline figures. These are all the Kellogg's versions that came in cereal that don't have the gun holster here. I need a new waist for my regular Lifeline, and these guys were in such good shape. I was going to grab 2 of them, one to... Well, now I'm seeing something weird going on with this one. Well, I was saying, these guys were in pretty good shape, and I need a waist for one, and the other one I just figured I'd grab just to have an extra one of the mail-away guys. And the guy was like, oh, you know, he was going to give me a price break if I took 3 figures, and there weren't a lot of other characters in the bin he had, so I just grabbed 3 Lifelines, and I'm not totally sure why. But I stocked up on those guys. I also picked up a Gyro Viper. This is the pilot to the Cobra Mamba. I think this is my 3rd Gyro Viper, which gives me 1 Viper for each one of the 3 cockpits on the Mamba. Kind of excites me. I had the Mamba as a kid, and I had 2 pilots pretty much my entire life. I got one at a yard sale or something as a kid, so I used to keep them in the pods, so that way, you know, it was even. I picked up fins to the Skyhawk. This is the Sky Patrol version of the Skyhawk. I feel like it's probably the easiest Sky Patrol vehicle to complete, and I don't own any Sky Patrol vehicles yet, so I grabbed these fins since I had the chance, so maybe I can get one eventually. I also picked up some G.I. Joe parts. Rock and Roll version 2's machine gun, I knew I was missing one of those, as well as the ammo belt for it, so that completes my Rock and Roll. I picked up a Bat version 2 cannon hand. That's always handy, because when you find these troop builders at yard sales and toy shows and stuff, a lot of times they're missing all their hand accessories, and they look silly with just a little stump. So now at least I've got one weapon to put on there. Picked up a Pathfinder gun. I know one of the handles on my Pathfinder guns is snapped, so this will be a nice replacement. And I also picked up a Battle Force 2000 gun. I think this is blockers. I think it's the only gun I needed for Battle Force 2000 guys to complete them. Now for a more eclectic bunch of figures. This is a Toy Biz X-Men figure of Morph. This was a character created for the X-Men cartoon show. He had the ability to change his appearance, and so the figure's head comes off. I know I have the evil Morph head, and I'm pretty sure I have the Wolverine head at least. I think he might have also come with a Cyclops head, so you could transform him into other people. So I'm glad to pick him up. Always wanted this guy as a kid. I had a lot of the Toy Biz X-Men, and I never had Morph. I got Zen Intergalactic Ninja. Hiya! Zen is sort of a weird toy line that the didn't make a big splash, but the toy company's really promoted. He had a comic, he had a video game, but he didn't really catch on. And then over here, this camel face guy is a member of the crew from Pirates of Blackwater. Are you my daddy? No. Get lost, yak face. Oh. I picked up 2 new bad guys from the LJN Thundercats line. I've got Jackalman, who has his shoulder pauldron and his club, and his Battle-matic Action Works. Excited to have him with his accessories. And I also got Grund the Destroyer. He has a set of brass knuckles and a mace. Whoops, my hand's in the way of his Battle-matic Action. Both these guys are in great shape, and I'm pretty excited to add them to my collection. I picked up a carded Cowboy Curtis figure from the Pee Wee Herman line. On to Power Rangers. I picked up a Rito Revolto figure. I have one already, but his one arm falls off all the time, so picked up a fresh one. I picked up the 2-headed parrot with his shield and axe. I also picked up a Power Rangers Invincible Flytrap monster. And the Power Ranger item I'm most excited about? 2 more Z-Putties! Yeah! I'm building up a pretty big army of these guys. I got a copy of the G.I. Joe See, Hear, and Read book called The Captive City by Kid Stuff. Even has the tape with it. To go along with that, I got a sealed copy of Cobra Strike's Deluxe Talking Storybook. It's got the tape on the back there. I also had an opportunity to snag a bunch of carded G.I. Joes. Let's take a look at those. Here is Charboil. Not necessarily my favorite Joe ever, but I did have him as a kid. I got him for Easter. This happens to be the black eye variant, not the red eye variant. His card art was always way cooler than the figure. Ambush the Concealment Specialist was another figure I had as a kid. This one contains a free command ring. It's the Sergeant Slaughter one. I always wanted that one as a kid. Blizzard, the Arctic Attack Soldier. True story, as a kid, my version of Blizzard had the Super Trooper sticker on the front here, and my cousin convinced me you had to mail in that front piece of the package, and I chopped up his file card. And then when I found out you didn't send that part in, you sent in the little paper that was in behind the figure, I was so bummed out, because I really did collect the file cards. They were very important to me. I got Battle Talking Commander Stalker. This is not one I had as a kid, but I did enjoy Overkill, and I think I had General Hawk, maybe, as a kid. I know I had Overkill. General Hawk I had early on. He might have even been a yard sale find, though, back then. I had so many characters at that point that I was really drawn to Overkill because he was a new character and because he was a bat. Now, the batteries inside this have died, so it doesn't work anymore. But still, I'm excited to have a carded version. Kind of like the Talking Commanders. I know Mega Marines isn't everyone's favorite, but I do like having these carded samples of the different styles of packaging. So I picked up Mega Marines Clutch. Still got the Play-Doh. The last item for today's episode is Duke, Master Sergeant. I had this figure as a kid and really liked it, and I actually bought multiple loose figures of him from a toy shop I used to visit a lot, and turned them all into custom soldiers. I made like a whole squad of these guys. I repainted the red-brown on the custom figures, though. I always thought it was a good sculpt. Thanks for watching this Action Figure Adventures video. Do Baby Skeletor a favor, hit that like and subscribe button.